Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise tonight to raise the issue that I, as a member for Franklin, and I assume other members for Franklin and the Minister for Housing, would have received recent very substantial number of emails and other correspondence from people around the Kingston and the Kingborough municipality about the proposed housing supply order that would enable a subdivision at Huntingfield. I have been really overwhelmed by the strength of community concern and the range of issues that have been raised by people, the breadth across the community, not just in the areas surrounding Huntingfield, but much further afield, because people have raised so many concerns about the flow-on impacts of this development. Now, it's clear from our record that the Greens are very strong advocates for increasing the supply of affordable and highly livable and energy efficient homes in Tasmania. That's been our track record in government, and it is in Parliament too. When Cassie O'Connor, the leader of the Tasmanian Greens, was the Minister for Human Services between 2010 and 2014, she oversaw the master planning of Huntingfield. And she and we appreciate the importance of that site to increasing the provision and density of housing supply near urban centres. We do, as members of the Greens, however, share the widely held concerns that the current approach being taken by the Minister, including the order, has been rushed and inadequately thought through. The housing supply, the Huntingfield master plan that Cassie O'Connor oversaw as then Minister had a total number of homes and lots planned for that for the next stage of the Huntingfield development as being 230. And so we, along with the community, were very surprised at the proposal for 500 or more. We've also heard 550 being planned, along with a move to rezone the site as in a residential zone. And one of the submissions that was made, this one was by the Taramar School, makes the point that the inner residential zone is density is significantly higher than that of the general residential zone, which is intended to provide for increased densities in inner residential areas where sites will be in close proximity to public transport and a range of existing services through the proximity to commercial precincts. And the draft order, as has been proposed, provides for this very greater increase in density beyond even the inner residential zone to a new proposed zone, Precinct A, which would have an even greater permitted density of housing than other inner residential zoned land in other parts of Hobart, for example. And there is no basis that is made for, or that we can see, for this intensive zoning that's being proposed. In order for the Housing Land Supply Act, which was passed last year, to be an effective and publicly trusted mechanism for increasing the supply of affordable housing, which was its stated intention, it has to be implemented without any resort to planning trickery. And the move to rezone Huntingfield to this inner residential, even more dense inner residential Precinct A zone, when it is clearly not appropriate in that environment, doesn't instill confidence in people about how this act is being applied. So we do understand and endorse the need to increase the density of future housing developments, particularly in Greater Hobart, but that can't be done without plans for infrastructure, including access to schools, public transport and services. And these these are the vast suite of the comments that people are making. The real concern about the impact on the two local schools, Tarramar and St Aloysius, on the safety for students, on the traffic flow for those two schools, on the impact of the proposal for business zones, for a business district to be located right near St Aloysius and Tarramar, that would be imposing a commercial activity directly next to those schools, when there is really no sense at all in putting them right on the edge of a development adjacent to existing housing, when they would be better located inside this massive subdivision that's being proposed. The other concerns that members of the community have raised relate to the stormwater impacts. Again, Tarramar had a terrible flood event in May last year, and they had substantial damage to the school, which it took them a lot of parent effort and a lot of money to recover from. So they speak to the inundation issues already occurring in their area and raise the question about how stormwater could possibly be managed given the scale of density that's being proposed. The Peter Murrell Reserve, which is right next to the development, Friends of Peter Murrell also raise really important points about the impact on Coffees Creek and how stormwater could be managed from such a massive development. These are all clearly huge concerns, and the last one that I wanted to raise in this regard, Madam Speaker, is the flow of traffic into Hobart. So many people have written specifically on their concerns about the southern outlet, the failure of this government to manage the flow of traffic into southern outlet. So I really plead with the Minister to seriously take note of the community concerns and to present back to the community a real clear indication that he will engage with them on these issues.
I don't think you heard me. It was time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much.